Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell for new stories. The twin princesses, Lyria and Alara, gazed out from the high observation deck of their crystalline prison. The sky above their world, a swirling mass of nebulae and distant stars, had always been the same. A tapestry of unknown galaxies, unmarred by the intrusion of outsiders. Yet, it had been centuries since they'd seen anything beyond the bounds of their gilded cage. They were the last remnants of a once powerful alien race, locked away by their own people after an uprising deemed them too dangerous. "Do you feel it?" Alara whispered, her voice like a soft melody woven through the cold silence. Lyria nodded, her shimmering silver hair catching the light as she turned her gaze to her sister. "He's close," she said, her voice resonating with a mysterious power neither fully understood. "I saw his image in my dreams." Alara's crimson eyes flashed with excitement. "A man," she murmured, the word unfamiliar and yet thrilling. "After so long, a human. We are not alone." They had read of humans in ancient texts, tales brought to them by their ancestors, stories of courage and rebellion, of love and betrayal. But those tales were now nothing but fragments, lost in time. To see one in the flesh, to feel the emotions they'd only once read about, it was a dream almost too surreal to comprehend. The guard stationed at the entrance of their chamber shifted uncomfortably, his crystalline armor shimmering under the dim light. He had heard whispers of a strange presence beyond the prison's boundaries, a man whose arrival threatened to awaken something dark within the twin princesses. "Do you remember our father's warnings?" Lyria asked quietly. "He feared what would happen if we ever saw a human. But he never imagined this," Alara said, her voice trembling with anticipation. "What if this man? He's the key to our freedom?" The guard shifted again, uneasy under the weight of their conversation. "You speak of things forbidden," he said in a monotone voice. "The law does not permit this." "Let them speak," came another voice, a soft but firm tone. The figure of an elder emerged from the shadows, his long, flowing robes draped in ancient symbols and colors that hinted at wisdom lost to time. "Perhaps their time has come." The twin princesses turned to him, their eyes wide with curiosity and hope. The elder, once a revered scholar and leader, had been the closest thing to a guide in their long imprisonment. He had taught them history, science, and the magic that was as much a part of them as their very existence. "You remember, don't you?" the elder said, his voice calm yet resonant. "The old stories, how humans were once allies to our kind before our downfall. They carry the spirit of unity that we once held. But we are not the same as before," Lyria said softly. "We were imprisoned because we wielded powers beyond control. Powers that could bring ruin." Alara's gaze dropped, her fingers tracing the edge of the crystalline railing. "But we have changed, haven't we?" she murmured. "Centuries of silence, isolation. We are no longer the same." The elder nodded, a gentle smile forming on his weathered face. "Indeed, you are different. And perhaps this human is the bridge between your past and future. A way to reclaim what was lost." Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath them, a low, rumbling pulse emanating from deep within the prison's heart. The presence of the man had stirred something ancient, something forgotten. The guard raised his weapon, his body tense, but the elder raised a hand, silencing the room. "Let him come," the elder said. "Let him see you." With a soft sigh, Alara moved forward, her steps slow and deliberate. Lyria followed, their twin forms glimmering in the dim light. They stood together at the edge of the observation deck, their eyes locked on the horizon, waiting for the man who had crossed the threshold into their realm. And so the future began, not as they had feared, but as they dared to hope. The distant figure of the man emerged from the swirling haze of the prison's boundary. His silhouette was unlike anything the twin princesses had ever seen, a stark contrast to the ethereal creatures they had known since birth. His presence was solid, his movements purposeful, and yet there was an air of vulnerability to him that intrigued them. He wasn't like the guards or their captors, who moved with a rigid efficiency devoid of emotion. Alara's breath hitched as she took a step forward, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. "He's real," she whispered to her sister, her voice trembling with awe. "After all these years, we've seen nothing but shadows. Now we have a man standing before us." Lyria's gaze remained steady, her silver eyes narrowing slightly. "And yet we don't know him. We've heard stories. But this is different." She gestured toward the approaching figure, her voice carrying a faint tremor. "His thoughts, his dreams. What does he want from us?" The man continued his slow approach, the distance between them shrinking with each deliberate step. He seemed unafraid, his expression calm yet intense. The twin princesses exchanged a glance, their bond strengthened by centuries of shared experiences and unspoken understanding. "Do you feel it?" Alara whispered, her voice low and reverent. "His emotions, his desire. It's not fear. It's something more, something deeper. He's searching for something," Lyria murmured. "And it's not just us. It's something he believes lies beyond this prison." The elder watched quietly from the shadows, his eyes glimmering with wisdom. He recognized the man's purpose, an explorer of unknown realms, a seeker of knowledge, perhaps even a catalyst for change. His presence was a spark in the darkness, a reminder of the universe beyond their confinement. "You must decide," the elder said softly. "What will you show him?" Alara took another step forward, her voice a low, melodic hum. "We've been alone for so long. What if he holds the key to a new path, to freedom? And what if it's a trick?" Lyria countered, her voice firm yet tempered by doubt. "Humans have always sought to conquer what they do not understand. We are no different from ancient enemies who sought to control us." The man stopped just beyond their reach, his gaze unwavering. "I am not here to conquer," he said, his voice rich and deep, with an undeniable warmth that seemed to resonate within the princess's very beings. "I seek understanding, a glimpse into your world, your history, your power, a chance to learn, to help." Alara's breath hitched at his words, her heart skipping a beat. "Help us," she whispered, her voice nearly cracking. "Yes," he said, his expression gentle but determined. "I come with no hidden motives, no desire for conquest. Only knowledge, only to understand what has been lost." Lyria watched him closely, her mind racing. There was something familiar about his sincerity, a truth buried beneath centuries of alien history and fear. "If you seek understanding, then you must first understand our truth," she said quietly. "We are not mere princesses, not powerless beings locked away. We are beings of immense power, ancient and formidable. To wield that power again is to risk chaos, but to withhold it is to lose everything," Alara added, her voice a whisper of caution and hope. "You speak of understanding, but can you truly fathom the depths of what you seek?" "I don't know everything," the man admitted, his tone humble. "But I know that curiosity leads to discovery, and discovery leads to change. You've been imprisoned because of what you once were. But what if that is no longer who you are?" The elder stepped forward, his presence commanding yet calming. "He speaks truth. You have changed, just as time has changed the universe around you. This man does not come seeking to revive the past, but to bridge the gap between what was and what could be." Lyria and Alara exchanged another glance, this time filled with contemplation. The prison's walls seemed to shimmer around them, the energy of their powers pulsing with every heartbeat. The weight of centuries of history, of isolation and betrayal, pressed upon their shoulders. Yet the possibility of something different, the possibility of freedom, gleamed in the man's eyes. "We will show you," Lyria said finally, her voice calm yet resolute. "Not because we trust you, but because we wish to understand this world beyond. And in understanding, we will determine our own fate." Alara smiled softly, her fingers brushing against Lyria's hand in a gesture of unity. "And if you are true, then together we may find a way." The man nodded, his face alight with a mix of excitement and solemnity. Together, he agreed. "Let us explore the unknown." And with that, the prison began to shift, subtle yet undeniable. The twin princesses and the man stood at the threshold of a new beginning, a journey not only into the stars, but into the very core of their own beings. The walls of their crystalline prison began to hum softly as unseen energies surged through the air. The twin princesses, Lyria and Alara, stood side by side, their silver and crimson eyes locked onto the man who had entered their world. For the first time in centuries, they felt something other than the oppressive stillness of isolation. Hope flickered like a distant star, just beyond reach. "You've awakened something," Lyria murmured, her voice resonating with a tone both ancient and new. "This prison is more than a cage. It's a reflection of who we were, who we've become." Alara's fingers curled into fists, the power within her flickering like lightning beneath her skin. "It holds our memories, our mistakes, but also our strength." The man watched them with a quiet intensity, absorbing the weight of their words. He could sense the raw energy pulsing between them, a force so immense it seemed capable of reshaping the very fabric of reality. "What happens next?" he asked cautiously, his voice steady despite the intensity of the moment. "We need to understand what's been lost," Lyria said, her voice sharp with resolve. "But more importantly, we need to decide if we can wield this power without destroying everything we touch." Alara stepped forward slightly, her gaze piercing into the man's as if seeking his soul. "You've seen what we've become. You know the risk. Are you ready to face it?" The man took a deep breath, his shoulders square with determination. "I've come this far. I won't turn back now." "Then follow us," Lyria said, her voice echoing through the prison's crystalline corridors. "But know that the deeper we delve, the closer we come to unlocking not just our past, but the very nature of existence." Together, they moved through the prison, the shifting energy around them guiding their steps. The man marveled at the alien architecture. Towering spires of crystal that seemed to hum with life, corridors that twisted into infinity, and ancient symbols that pulsed in time with their heartbeat. It was a place of profound beauty and untapped power, a realm shaped by the desires and fears of those who had once ruled it. "You said you've read of us," Lyria said, breaking the silence as they walked. "What did you think when you read our stories?" He paused for a moment, his expression thoughtful. "I thought you were myths," he admitted finally. "Legends passed down through history, whispers of a forgotten civilization. But seeing you now, it changes everything." Alara glanced back at him, her eyes narrowing slightly. "It should. We are more than myths. We are history given form." The corridors widened into a vast chamber filled with shimmering pools of liquid light. Above them, constellations of stars floated lazily in the air, bound to the prison's will. Alara stepped forward, her crimson gaze locked onto one of the pools, its surface rippling with memories of their past. A past that was both a curse and a gift. "This was our father's chamber," she said quietly, her voice a whisper against the echoes of ages. "Here, we were trained to harness our powers, to command the very threads of reality, and to control them," Lyria added darkly. "But we failed." The man looked around, absorbing the atmosphere of the room. "You speak of failure, but all I see is potential. Your powers are vast, but you've been restrained by fear, by isolation. Together, we can unlock what was once forbidden." "Together," Lyria echoed, her voice softer now. "But even together we must tread carefully. The prison has more than memories. It has safeguards against those who would misuse its power." Alara moved to a pedestal in the center of the chamber, her fingers brushing over ancient glyphs. The symbols lit up in response, casting the room in a soft, blue glow. "We are only as strong as our ability to control what lies beyond these walls." The man approached cautiously, his eyes flicking between the princesses and the strange, glowing runes. "And if we unlock something we cannot control? Then we'll face the consequences together," Alara said, her voice unwavering. "But we will not allow history to repeat itself." They spent hours in the chamber, exploring forgotten knowledge and ancient rituals. The man listened intently, his mind racing with the weight of what he was learning. Powers that could shape galaxies, emotions that transcended time, and a destiny that hung in the balance. As the hours stretched into days, the prison began to shift again, this time in response to their awakening. Walls shimmered with reflections of their thoughts, the corridors bending in ways that defied logic. The elder's voice echoed in their minds, a steady guide through the chaos of rediscovery. You are the architects of your future, he reminded them. But beware the forces that seek to reclaim what was lost. With renewed purpose, the twin princesses and the man pressed deeper into the heart of the prison, the boundaries between their past and present dissolving with every step. The journey had just begun, and the weight of their decisions would ripple across the stars. Together, they would forge a new path, or risk the destruction of everything they held dear. The crystalline corridors of the prison hummed with an almost symphonic energy as the group pressed forward. Lyria, Alara, and the man moved as one, their steps in rhythm with the pulse of the ancient power that now coursed through the prison. The elder's words echoed in their minds, a constant reminder of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. We are not alone, Alara whispered, her voice low and steady as they navigated a twisting passageway lined with glowing runes. There are forces beyond our understanding here, ones that would use us to fulfill their own desires. Lyria's gaze was sharp, her silver eyes scanning the dark recesses of the corridor. We've felt them before, the echoes of ancient enemies buried in the void of time. They've been waiting, watching. The man, though silent for the moment, could feel the weight of their conversation. He had known from the beginning that his journey here wasn't just about discovery. It was about risk. The power the twin princesses held wasn't just dangerous. It was a force that could reshape entire realities. If they lost control, there would be no going back. Their influence is subtle, Lyria continued, but it's growing stronger. We must be cautious. Every step forward is a step into the unknown. We've survived centuries of isolation, Alara said with a smirk. What's a few more battles against unseen forces? But these are not battles of strength alone, Lyria warned. They are battles of will. We've only begun to understand our powers again. And to wield them, we must be united. The man watched them closely, absorbing their words. He'd read of battles fought through history, of empires rising and falling, but nothing could have prepared him for this. The twin princesses were unlike any beings he had ever encountered. Their power was beyond comprehension, and yet so was their vulnerability. As they reached a massive chamber, its walls pulsating with streams of light, the elder's voice once again filled their minds. This is where the memories of your ancestors reside. What you seek lies beyond this point, but so does danger. Lyria placed a hand on her sister's shoulder, her voice steady. Together, yes, together, Alara echoed, her crimson eyes flashing with determination. No force will divide us. The man nodded, his confidence unwavering. He had come this far to help. Not just to learn, but to ensure the twin princesses wouldn't fall into the same trap that had once doomed their people. He stepped forward, his hand brushing lightly against the shimmering barrier at the entrance of the chamber. It rippled in response to his touch, revealing the memories locked away within. The air grew thick with visions. Their ancestors, regal and commanding, wielding unimaginable power. Battles fought against civilizations that sought to control the unknown. And in the center of it all, the twin princesses stood as guardians, the last line of defense against chaos. Their strength was bound by their fear, Lyria murmured, her voice a whisper in the wake of the visions. Fear of losing control. And so, they imprisoned us, Alara added bitterly, thinking it would be enough to contain the storm. But they were wrong, the man said firmly. You've already begun to reclaim what was lost. And together, we can ensure that the past doesn't repeat itself. The elder's voice echoed once more, steady and resolute. The prison serves not only to contain your power, but to protect the universe from it. The balance between creation and destruction must be maintained. Lyria glanced at her sister, her gaze intense. Do you believe we can control it? Alara hesitated for a moment before nodding slowly. We have no choice but to believe. This is our destiny. To either reclaim what was lost or to ensure its place in the stars is one of harmony, not chaos. The man's expression softened as he watched them. They were more than princesses. They were forces of nature, fierce, unyielding, and bound by a legacy of immense power. Yet, he could see the cracks in their resolve, the moments of doubt that flickered between them. But balance is fragile, he said softly. It takes more than strength to maintain it. It takes understanding, trust, and sometimes sacrifice. We are not afraid of sacrifice, Alara said, her voice stealing once more. Our ancestors feared what could happen if we lost control. But they never understood what we've become. We are more than the sum of our past, Lyria added. We are the future guardians of a realm that has been forgotten. And with your help, we will shape it. The elder's presence faded as the vision subsided, leaving the trio alone in the vast chamber. The glow of the runes around them dimmed, leaving the room in an uneasy silence. The prison, though ancient, seemed alive, whispering secrets and warnings through its crystalline corridors. The man took a deep breath, the weight of their shared purpose settling over him. Let's move forward, he said quietly. Together, we can face whatever lies ahead. Lyria and Alara exchanged one last look before stepping forward, their resolve stronger than ever. The prison's walls trembled, and the echoes of their ancestors faded into the distance. They were no longer imprisoned by fear. They were forging a new path, a path that could bring either salvation or ruin. The journey deeper into the prison continued, each step revealing more of the ancient power that had been buried beneath countless layers of memory and fear. The man followed closely behind the twin princesses, his mind racing with thoughts of what they might uncover, and what might be lost if they failed. The corridors shifted subtly, each turn leading them closer to the heart of the prison. Lyria and Alara moved with purpose, their connection to the power of their ancestors guiding them through the labyrinth. The air grew colder, the energy more intense with every step, until it felt as though the very fabric of reality was bending to their will, or perhaps their emotions. Hold steady, Lyria said quietly, her voice steady despite the unease she felt. This place is alive in ways we don't fully understand. Alara's hand brushed against a glowing rune as they passed, its light flickering in response. It knows us, tests us. The man watched them closely, his gaze shifting between the glowing symbols etched into the walls and the flickering shadows of the distant corridors. He could feel the tension, the weight of the unknown pressing down on them. Every breath seemed heavier, every thought sharper as they pressed forward. We're getting closer, Alara murmured. The heart of the prison, where the memories of power and chaos are strongest, but also where the danger is greatest, Lyria added, her voice low. The more we awaken, the more vulnerable we become. The man nodded, understanding the risk. I've faced dangers before, but this is different. This isn't just about strength. It's about control. And that is something we've never fully mastered, Lyria said softly. We've spent centuries trying to suppress what lies within us. But suppression only leads to destruction. Alara glanced back at him, her crimson eyes darkened by the weight of their history. And what happens if we fail? If the balance we seek tips toward chaos? We won't fail, the man said with quiet conviction. Because we have to believe in each other. You and me, together. The chamber they entered next was vast, the walls lined with towering crystalline spires that pulsed with energy. A singular platform hovered in the center, its surface glowing with the same ancient symbols that resonated throughout the prison. At its peak stood a projection, a spectral figure that shimmered with an otherworldly light, resembling the image of their father from long ago. The elder's voice echoed in the room, solemn and wise. This is the core, the repository of your true power. You must decide what you will do with it. Lyria approached the platform cautiously, her silver hair shimmering in the dim light. We've always been taught to fear it, she said softly. But fear alone will not protect us. No, Alara agreed, her voice steady. But it can guide us. The man stepped beside them, his gaze fixed on the spectral figure. And what of the consequences? What if the power within us awakens something even more dangerous? It already has, Lyria said, her tone firm. The longer we suppress it, the more we lose control. The balance has shifted, and now we must fight to regain it. The projection of their father flickered slightly, his voice deep and resonant. You are the heirs to a legacy long forgotten. Your powers were a gift, but also a burden. Only by embracing both can you hope to restore harmony. Alara closed her eyes for a moment, absorbing his words. Then we will embrace it. Together. The room grew still as the projection faded, leaving the three of them alone with the platform's pulsing energy. Lyria placed her hand on the surface, her silver aura blending with the ancient symbols. Alara joined her, their connection strengthening the energy into something tangible. The man watched in awe as the chamber resonated with their combined power. The symbols on the walls lit up brighter, casting a cascade of light throughout the room. It was a beautiful, overwhelming display of potential, a force capable of altering the universe itself. This is our destiny, Lyria said softly, her voice rising above the hum of energy. We will wield this power, not to destroy, but to heal, to rebuild, and we will do it together, Alara added, a gentle smile forming on her lips. For the first time in centuries, we are free to choose. The man felt the surge of energy within him, the weight of their collective resolve pressing against his own resolve. He could feel the universe shifting around them, responding to the power they unleashed. This wasn't just about restoring balance. It was about shaping a new future, one that no longer feared the unknown. The twin princesses turned to face him, their eyes shining with a newfound light. You've helped us see what was hidden, Lyria said softly, but this journey is far from over. The universe still watches, and we must prove we can wield our powers wisely. The man stepped closer, his hand resting gently on the platform. Then we'll continue side by side. No turning back. Together, they stood at the heart of the prison, a beacon of hope and strength. The ancient power that once divided their world was now unified, guided by the twin princesses and their human companion. The future stretched out before them, uncertain but promising. And in that moment, they knew that nothing could stand in their way. The final surge of energy rippled through the chamber, cascading like waves across the crystalline walls. The twin princesses, Lyria and Alara, stood side by side, their silver and crimson auras intertwining with the ancient power that flowed through the prison. The man, their unlikely ally, stood close, his presence grounding their combined might. You've done it, the man said softly, his voice steady despite the overwhelming power that now surrounded them. You've reclaimed what was lost. But at what cost? Lyria asked, her voice laced with concern as she glanced at her sister. The chamber, once a place of confinement, now pulsed with life, an expression of freedom. Yet, there was still an unease lingering beneath the triumph. We've only just begun, Alara replied, her expression serene but her eyes reflecting the weight of their journey. This power is not easily controlled. Every step forward is a step into the unknown. The elder's voice echoed once more in their minds, calm and measured. You have awakened a force that can shape reality. But with great power comes great responsibility. Balance must be maintained. Lyria took a deep breath, her silver hair flowing gently with the residual energy. We will control it. Together, Alara nodded, her crimson aura flickering in agreement. And we will guide it, not let it consume us. The man watched them, his gaze shifting between the twin princesses and the chamber they had reshaped. You've taught me more than I ever expected. Not just about power, but about unity. We've always been united, Lyria said quietly. It was the world that tried to divide us. Now we shape the world, Alara added firmly. One decision at a time. The chamber began to stabilize, the energy settling into a steady hum. The runes on the walls dimmed, their glow receding into the depths of the prison. Yet the presence of their power remained, a reminder that they had crossed into a new threshold. We should leave this place, Lyria suggested. Return to the stars. There is much work to do. Yes, Alara agreed. But we leave with a warning. The universe is watching. Those who seek to control the unknown will not tolerate our resurgence. The man looked between them, understanding the truth of their words. Then we'll be ready. Together, we'll face whatever comes next. They began their journey back through the corridors of the prison, the weight of their shared destiny pressing against them. The walls shimmered with memories of their ancestors, the echoes of countless battles fought in the name of control and liberation. Yet, for the first time, the twin princesses moved forward without fear, united by a purpose far greater than they had ever imagined. As they reached the outer boundaries of the prison, the man paused, turning to look back at the vast structure that had been both their prison and their sanctuary. "This place will be remembered," he said softly, "as the place where your powers were reborn, where your legacy was reshaped. It will be more than a memory," Lyria said, her voice firm. "It will be a symbol, a beacon for those who believe in balance, in harmony, and in freedom," Alara added, her crimson eyes shining brightly. "For us and for the universe." They stepped into the stars, their powers humming with potential. The man, now a part of their journey, felt the vastness of the cosmos stretching out before them, a frontier of endless possibilities. The twin princesses led the way, their auras guiding them through the unknown. "This is only the beginning," Lyria said, her voice steady and filled with conviction. "The universe is ours to shape, and we will shape it wisely," Alara finished, a faint smile touching her lips. Together, with that, they soared into the stars, their combined strength forging a new path, one where the echoes of the past were heard but no longer bound them. The prison was behind them, its power harnessed, its danger understood. A new era had begun, a time when ancient forces would rise again, but this time with unity, purpose, and freedom guiding them. Together, they would face whatever lay ahead, knowing that in the vast, boundless cosmos, no force could divide them. The end. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stellar HFY content. Ring that bell to stay updated, and we'll see you next time.